distance between Indonesia and Europe cannot be measured in miles. After almost 20 years of ministry in Indonesia, we had our visas suddenly revoked and had to leave the country that very day. We could never have imagined the life God would give to us in Europe. But with God, the adventure never ends.
The continent of Europe is considered by many to be the spiritually darkest continent on earth. In Western Europe, less than 1% of the population are evangelical Christians.
In helping to push back the darkness in Europe, the Lord has given us a two-pronged ministry. The first is teaching at Continental Theological Seminary, located on the outskirts of Brussels, Belgium. CTS was started 50 years ago to train pastors and Christian leaders to take the gospel throughout Europe. This past school year, there were students from over 30 nations worldwide. Graduates of CTS are currently ministering in over 70 countries of the world. It is an awesome privilege and opportunity to have a part in training leaders who will be used of God to impact their nations with the gospel.
Immigrants are coming to Western Europe by the tens of thousands, seeking a better way of life. These immigrants are changing the face of Europe. The challenge before us is how to reach them with the gospel. The door the Lord has opened for us is ministry among Indonesians in Europe.
Since moving to Belgium in 2000, God has given us opportunities to work with Indonesians in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany. During the past few years, we have ministered to a dozen churches and fellowships, with the prospect of more in the future. This has been a ministry of evangelism and discipleship, training Christians and Christian leaders to do the work of the kingdom.
One of our Indonesian ministries is an ecumenical fellowship that meets twice a month in the Indonesian Embassy in Brussels. God's wonderful irony is that we regularly preach the gospel in the embassy of the very nation that forced us to leave our ministry in Indonesia.
These two areas of ministry, training leaders at CTS and ministering to Indonesians in Europe, come together in a very dear friend of mine. Maria is an Indonesian lady who has been married to Per, a Danish businessman, for almost 30 years. Because of Per's work within the European Union, they have many contacts among the diplomatic corps of the EU, as well as with business people in their community. Maria and Per are burdened to reach their neighbors for Christ. To accomplish this, they began a home fellowship group.
One Sunday, we met Maria in the Indonesian Embassy Fellowship. Surprised to find that we spoke fluent Indonesian, she asked how we came to be in Belgium. We explained about our visa situation in Indonesia that resulted in our moving to Europe. Then we described the exciting ministry God has given us to teach at CTS. When Maria heard that there is a seminary in Brussels and that Diane and I taught there, she was eager to attend so she could be better equipped for ministry. So in her early 50s, Maria enrolled at CTS, and in June 2009, she became the first Indonesian graduate of CTS. It has been a great joy to see her develop as a wonderful woman of God. I'm Darrell, and this is my wife, Diane. We're so grateful to be able to be with you and share with you today.
It's a real privilege for us to have ministry at Continental Theological Seminary and working with Indonesians. And we just appreciate that you've given us this time to be able to introduce ourselves to you. And we hope to be able to partner with you in reaching this fantastic continent of Europe.